Hello, how are you doing today? I'm so glad to see you. It's been a while since we've come live, just the two of us. Usually I have a guest or something, but today I just wanted to come and talk to you. I was actually encouraging a friend and talking about some stuff, and I was like, you know what? I need to go do a Facebook Live. It's been a while since I've done it, and I just really miss talking and sharing with you and encouraging you just how amazing, how incredible, how powerful you are. For those of you that don't know me, hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, an international best-selling author of 20 books and counting. And I'm so excited to have the blessing of opportunity to be able to help people write, publish, market their books to bestseller and beyond. But most importantly, what I really do is I help people see that what they felt was a cloud that might have maybe had some silver lining isn't just that, but it's actually silver with cotton candy on top. And I want to help you today see just how incredible you are. Do you ever question yourself? We all do, don't we? We all have those self doubts, those things that come in and make us question whether or not we're worthy, we're worth it, whether or not what we do in this world makes a difference. You know, it's interesting how our minds work because we very often um, have negative trash talk about ourselves, right? What my friend Greg used to call head trash. Um, I'm assuming he probably does still call it that now that I think about it. But ultimately, when you think about it, how often do you hear somebody say about someone else, oh, they're just not getting it done? They just are not effective at all. Now, it happens. There are people who talk trash about other people, but in reality, the people who really know you and love you, do they ever come to you and tell you, hey, you're really, really just not getting it done? Now, there are times when we've each of us had people who know us and love us and have come to us and said, hey, you know, you're meant for more than this. You know that there is so much more that you can, could, and should be doing in this world and in this life. And you're missing the boat because you're not living up to who you are. We've all had people that love us, but in general, that's not the messages we get from others, from the people that know us and love us. They're telling us how amazing we are, and we're saying things like, oh, thanks. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, I appreciate that. You know, even when we accept the compliment, which sometimes we don't, right? I know I'm the only one, right? But even when we accept the compliment, often we, if not with what we say in our minds, we reject the compliment, right? We're like, either we just outright say, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal when somebody just told us we did something amazing, or we say, thank you. But in our minds, we're saying, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Right? We don't give ourselves credit for how wonderful we are. So I wanted to come on today and tell you you're wonderful. You're amazing. You're powerful. You're changing the world. You know what you're doing today? You're being you. Oh, the things, oh, the places. I love Dr. Seuss's book, Oh, the Places You Will Go. Oh, the places you will go. Oh, what an amazing book. And I love the phrase where he says, with a head full of brains and shoes full of feet. I love that. So much wisdom in some of Dr. Seuss's books. And the thing about it is that we need to understand you're going to change the world, your little corner of it today, by doing the simple thing of just being you, of being the best you that you can be while it's called today. Yesterday's gone. You can't do anything about it. Now, if we blew it, which we all do, you can most definitely go to those that you owe apologies to, or you were less than, or you didn't give your all to, or you want to do even better with, and you can apologize, do more for any of those kind of things. There's always today to be even better than we were yesterday. There's always today to ask for forgiveness from yesterday. There's always today to, and this one's harder, forgive from yesterday. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to continue to take the abuse if we forgive. The forgiveness isn't for them, it's for us. It's to break the chains that are binding us from somebody else's actions and setting ourselves free and letting them be able to just deal with, well, whatever it is they need to deal with, because that's not our responsibility. I know it'd be easier if it was sometimes, but it isn't. There's always time today to do that, but there is no time and there's no capability of changing yesterday. Have you ever had those discussions where you're like, if I could go back in time to blah, blah, blah? And there's some wisdom in that. You know, when I'm helping people write books, we talk about if you could go back to the 20-year-old version of yourself, what advice would you give you? You see, we can look back and see the wisdom that we've gained over the days, weeks, months, years, decades that we've been alive, but we can't change it. The past is just simply what it is. This is what I love and hate about history. And mostly I love it, but I hate it from the standpoint of a lot of times it's misrepresented. History, the past is just what it is. And in every incident, there was people who fought battles and somebody won and somebody lost. And for the victors, you know, history is written by the victors, right? That's not to say that the people who lost have that same, viewpoint of the way that the people who won the war talk about how that war went. And the same thing's true across all of history. And what I encourage us to do is to not try to rewrite history, not try to get other people to see a different viewpoint of history, but rather to just look and take history for what it was. This incident happened. These are the realities of it, both good and bad. It's not a matter of being able to change the past. It's just simply, as it says, I believe it's Dachau, and maybe Auschwitz, it says right on the doors there, when we fail to learn the lessons of history, we're destined to repeat them. We want to learn those lessons, but then we want to maximize while it's today so that we can make for a better tomorrow. You see, we can't live tomorrow either. Have you ever tried to do that? I know I have. Try to squeeze in all of today and all of tomorrow into today. Maybe try to see if we can't scoop up a little bit of yesterday. Squeeze 25 hours a day. Remember that song from Secret of My Success? Into the 24 hours that are in today. Use the whole entire every one of them and not sleep at all because we're inspired or we're driven or we're bipolar or whatever it might be that has us not sleeping, but really just charging forward today. And we need to understand today, the biggest blessing that we can be is to be ourselves, to bless the world by being who we are, doing what we do, and making the difference by just simply being you. You are good enough. In fact, you're beyond wonderful. You are a precious gem. You were created to change the world every single moment of every single day. That's right. Even when you've failed, you have a choice. It can be a tombstone or it can be a stepping stone. We all make mistakes, and we need to make up for those mistakes. But the growth often, almost always, comes more from the times that we got the problem wrong than when we got it right, especially if it's something that you're learning. You know, a lot of times if you guess the right answer, the answer is right, but the way that you got to that was purely a guess. It was a happy accident, if you will. It wasn't because you can explain this and this and this. One of the things, and this is an old rant of mine that I haven't ranted about in a long time, but one of the things that used to drive me crazy, especially in internet space, because I've been here forever, since before we called it the internet, is people would say when asked a question, well, that's how so-and-so does it. Well, that's how everybody does it. And that was the only answer they had. That was as deep as they went. And it kind of drove me a little crazy probably because I had been around long enough to know the why behind the why. But I encourage you to know the reasons why. And more importantly, as I was saying, to understand that when we blow it, when we get the wrong answer, that's when the learning starts. Because then we can find out why. We can dig into it. We can see. We can know more and do better because we've learned from that horrible thing called making a mistake. So that even as we go through today and we stumble and we stub our toe and we make mistakes, we're making the world a better place if we simply just do this one and only thing. And that's that we set our mind towards being better, towards learning from our mistakes, towards growing, towards having a soft heart that asks quickly for permission and forgives easily. The word grace is such a huge word, but it really just simply means I've blown it. I'll probably blow it again. So when you make a mistake, like we all do, I'm more than willing to let that pass and go because I'm hoping that in the future you will do the same for me. That's what grace is. I mean, there's all kinds of religious and spiritual aspects to grace, but it's most simple. That's what it is just simply allowing persons the room to be able to make mistakes just like we do. I want you to know how incredible you are, how amazing, how wonderful, how special, and how needed you are in this world. I just had to come on today, just for a few minutes, just to tell you you're amazing. And to ask you, do you ever question yourself? If you do, feel free to put in the comments the things that you question about yourself. Let's talk about it. Send me a private message if it's something that is too intense to talk about in a public place, and I'd be glad to talk that through with you because I want you to be able to see today how incredible you are right where you are with all the mistakes that all of us have made. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. One of my favorite verses in the Bible of all time is the one that says, rejoice while it's called today. Today's the day we've got. We don't know what'll happen tomorrow. Any of you that have ever watched the news, you know that you can go to bed at night and wake up in the morning in a totally different world. I went to bed the other night and woke up to the snow coming down. It was a different thing because now that I'm in Kansas instead of in California, it had been a while since I had seen snow fall on the ground. It's a very different world to look out and see everything covered in white. And we can either look out at the snow and grumble because it's cold, and it is, or we can see the beauty. I took a look out my window in my bedroom. I even took a picture of it. This amazing winter landscape with the old farm building that's, I think, abandoned, that's across the street from my bedroom window. And I thought, how beautiful. That was actually the day after the snowstorm. The road in between my house and the barn across the street was all cleared off, not because it had cleared, but just because enough traffic and enough warmth had already cleared off the road. But it was just beautiful winter landscape. You see, either way, now I could have looked at it and gone, ugh, still cold and wet. And if I go outside, I need to wear something more than just a pair of Crocs. Probably need to put my boots on again. Whatever way you look at it is the way that it can go. But I want you to be able to look at you today, to look in the mirror and say to yourself, you are wonderful. And if you can't do it, look here, right here. Look at my nose. I'm going to tell you something. You are wonderful. You are amazing. You are a precious gem. There is no one in this world like you. We're so blessed to have someone as special as you in this world. Thanks for just simply being you while it's called today. So if you're questioning yourself, Rewind this, look at that again, and remind yourself, Steve said I'm wonderful because you are. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. Until we're together again next time, have a great week.